to my studio. The studio was actually created in this room, which is part of the cellar. Now, let me explain to you why it's above ground and not below.
Now here's a plan of the extension to the house. Up here is where I showed you in episode 14, the study, come TV room, come library. And below that, that is my studio. Now as you can see, the land slopes quite a lot from the front of the house to the back. And that is why this section of the cellar is above the ground level. Now here's a different view from the back, and that is where the French doors are now. And there's the little terrace leading from the study. And in 2016 a new window was put in here. So all of this down here is studio, all above the ground level, overlooking the garden. But let me quickly show you what it looked like before.
Going to show you the studio and the garden today, but for two reasons I decided not to do it. So I'm splitting them up into two videos, one with the studio and one with the garden. And the reasons, first of all, we hit a spell of cold weather. So we've been hitting -3 in the mornings, and it's really stormy and unpleasant outside. I have enough material to do two separate videos, one of the studio and one of the garden. So next week we'll have a look at the garden, and hopefully the weather will be better. But I have so much material of the studio because so much has happened here. After the renovation by Patrick and Nadège and Lionel, Nadège's brother, there was the big vernissage, the opening of my first exhibition in Chalet. And that was quite happening. I exhibited together with my friend Maria, and she's a ceramicist, and I did the paintings, and it was a huge success. We had a wonderful opening evening. I invited the whole neighborhood to try and integrate with the community, and because he could not make it the opening night, the mayor, Monsieur Prezodi, came a few days later to view the exhibition, and that of course led to other things. But first I want to show you the opening of the exhibition, Le Vernissage. So after the mayor's visit, other things happened. I really became involved with the community of Chalet, and my first assignment, which I executed in this studio, was a banner, and I will show you exactly how it happened. Pierre Desproges was a French humorist born in 1939, 4 months before the start of the Second World War. A humorist is an intellectual who uses humor or wit in writing or public speaking and is not an artist who seeks only to make people laugh. In other words, not a comedian. Now, his grandparents had a house in the center of Chalet where he spent his holidays until he was 15. He went there at least a month, if not 2 per year. Then, at the age of 8, he had what is called a primary infection. Now that was before a vaccine for tuberculosis was developed. And when a little Parisian had a primary infection, to protect him from tuberculosis, he was put in the countryside with his grandparents as long as possible. So Pierre was sent to his grandparents in Chalet, where he stayed for 2 school years, between the ages of 8 and 10. In 2018, it was decided to give him an award posthumously, and the event was to take place in his grandparents' house in Chalet. His brother Jacques would receive the award. So, the mayor phoned me and I was asked to come and see the mayor. They were in need of a portrait of Pierre Deproche. At first I thought, okay, that's easy. But then the dimensions were given to me. They wanted a huge banner for the front of the house. Something I've never done before. Have a look.
Jour pour jour après la mort de Pierre Desproges, l'humoriste vient de recevoir à titre posthume le prix Humour de Résistance. Cet événement a rassemblé une centaine de personnes ce matin dans la maison familiale des Desproges à Chalut, en Haute-Vienne, en présence du frère de l'humoriste Jacques Desproges, Angélique Martinez, avec Marie Souma.
working space, and at the moment I'm actually working on a portrait of my mum, and hopefully I'll be able to finish this soon, and some more recent paintings of clouds. I love doing clouds. And it's so nice working in the studio because in summer, when it hits like 40 outside, it's probably only 20 degrees inside the studio. It's so nice and cool because the sun moves away quite early and it cools down the whole studio. Now this is the door leading to the rest of the cellar, which I won't show you because I'm collecting bottles for my garden. So it's filled with empties. So before you start thinking that's what I had to drink, no. I'm actually going to use it in the garden, and next week I'll explain to you how I'm going to use them. Here are two paintings that go way back. I think my first year at university, and the theme was captivity during childhood, because I see the playpen as a kind of prison, and also the environment in which you grow up. You do not really have a choice as a child where you grow up. So the environment also is like a prison. Portrait of my friend Annette. Remember, she helped renovate the house, and basically the message here is all about the selfie generation, that people nowadays are more interested in taking selfies than what they are in the architecture of, for example, the cathedrals or other buildings or the environment or nature. It's all about themselves, and that's quite sad. This beautiful porcelain wash basin I found in the cellar before it was renovated, and I decided to keep it because it's so beautiful, and it's handy to have some running water, hot and cold, in the studio. And I put them on 2 pillars to make it slightly special. So that is the history of my petit studio in my Petit Château. Once again, thank you so much for all the wonderful comments and those people who so generously buy me a kir every week. Thank you. And thank you for all the likes. And next week, we'll venture out into the garden. I hope the weather is better. So I can show you what it used to look like. A forest of brambles when I moved in. And I'll show you what it looks like now and what I'm planning for this coming summer. So all that's left to say is au revoir and à vendredi.